Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching from. Thanks for tuning in today. We've got a lot of fun stuff to cover off. Let me get the titles up here. Okay, so here's our topic list for today. The topic or the title of today's live kind of gave it away that we are going to have some discussion about some brand new secrets resorts that are opening up. I've just finished. I just had a Mexican coffee. I think it's the first one of this year, but unfortunately I couldn't get one in Mexico. I was really disappointed. That is one of my little treats that I do enjoy when I go to Mexico, especially Cancun. I really enjoy the way they make it. Café de olla is basically made in an urn, and it usually has some cinnamon, brown sugar in it, a few other things I don't really know. I at our local Mexican shop actually was able to just buy a container of instant stuff, so that is my special treat. And just because I can, I usually go for some whipped cream on top. Why not? Yeah. Good morning, Christine. How are you? Good to hear you. Yeah, so we're going to talk about a few different things. And I was going to have a question for the day, and I forget what it was going to be, but we'll see if that comes to me later on. So first off, let's talk about brand new secrets resorts in Aruba. So a couple of weeks ago, well, before I left for Cancun, I had mentioned to you that there's a brand new Iberostar opening up. And it's suggested initially it was going to be all-inclusive. Now they're saying maybe it won't be all-inclusive, or maybe it'll be a combination. Difficult to say. It is going to be on Eagle Beach, I believe, right near the now the name escapes me, the DVDV resorts. And sort of across the street from, am I going to remember the name of this place? Amsterdam, the Amsterdam Hotel. So that's another new option. But Secrets Baby Beach in Aruba is, well, they bought the property yonks ago, and originally it was going to be a zoetree, which would have been pretty nice. Oh, hey Angelo, how are you? Back home, safe and sound, good to hear. Angelo was actually at the resort for the first week that I was there. He was actually there at the hotel. And if you watch my first live 2 Wednesdays ago, that would have been on May the 1st, Angelo actually joins me on there, and we talk about some different things about the hotel and stuff. So that was kind of fun having him participate in the live. And Christine was actually down in Mexico at the same time. We didn't get a chance to hook up, but maybe in future travels we will see. So going back to this Baby Beach property, so this one is going to be opening up as an all-inclusive. But sorry, where I was going with this is originally the property was purchased to become a zoetree, and then they changed their mind about that. And then it was then announced it was going to be a secrets property. If you've never been to Aruba, it's a very small island. I mean, you can rent a car and you can drive around, you can stop, you can see all the attractions, all the historical sites, all the beautiful spots, the tourist areas. You can see this all in one day. So if you go for a week, you don't need to rent the car for the whole week, but it is a nice way to get around. Baby Beach is, so where most of the hotel zone is, if this is a map, and this is, this would be the west side of the island. This is the east side of the island. The west side is where the majority of the resorts are. It's very, very windy on the east side, so you'll see a lot of kite surfing, and just regular surfing on that side, but specifically kite surfing is a huge thing. And on the west side is where they've got stunning beaches, crystal clear waters. You can go out on the ocean and you can be on a catamaran and you can see sunken ships and sunken planes down below. You don't even need to have snorkel gear on. You can actually see it right from the boat, which is pretty cool. And so that's where the majority of the hotels are. If you go down to the southern end, Baby Beach has historically been a huge area for scuba diving. And so this is where the Secrets is going to be located. And yeah, it was great to meet you too. Okay, and so Angela was actually the one who told me about Secrets Baby Beach. So thank you for that. I gotta say, if you are at a inclusive collection hotel, so Dream Secrets, Sunscape, Zoetry Breathless, Hyatt Vivid, or the two Hyatts in the Riviera Maya, the Hyatt Ziva, Riviera Cancun, Hyatt Zilara, Riviera Maya. The vast majority of people who are there are probably going to be part of the timeshare program, the UVC, Unlimited Vacation Club. And these people are dialed in. Trust me, everybody that I spoke to who was a UVC member was telling me all the inside scoop on what was happening. And part of it is because their timeshare salespeople are so aggressive that they're constantly giving them the up-to-date information. So found out a couple of interesting things, like I said, about Secrets Baby Beach. So when they first switched over to deciding it was going to become a Secrets property, that was in 2019, 2020, and then well, we don't need to discuss 2020 because we all experienced it. But what they eventually came around to is that it would become the Secrets property, and it was meant to be open in 2023. Now they have just had a whole slew of issues. Some controversy over some of the construction, some controversy over the permits, the work permits, and some of the workers and stuff like that. I mean, these things happen when you go to the Caribbean. But what was, eventually they've pushed it through. Baby Beach is such a environmental treasure that I think that was part of the reason why they had so many issues. And, they've worked through them for the most part. The government does want to bring in the tourism and the tourism dollars, of course. And they want to see that area revitalized. But what they do want to make sure is, as with any new property opening, they want to ensure that it's done with care for the environment. So not just hacked together and causing any environmental damage. Excuse me. So here's what we know. It's going to be opening possibly late 2024, more like probably early 2025. It's in San Nicolas, which is the Baby Beach area, which is the southernmost point of Aruba. It's also very close to where the fish fry is. And if you've never heard of that expression, it's a very common thing on the Caribbean islands. And this is where once a week they will have, usually it's near where a lot of the fishing boats come in, and they will, every time I go away, I seem to rejuvenate this head cold that I had. This is the third time this year. So I'm not going anywhere for the next month. Anyways, so what they do at the fish fry is there's usually a lot of live music. They'll have fresh cooked fish, a lot of local treats like macaroni pie, which is their version of basically macaroni and cheese. Oh my God, it is so good. Absolutely delicious. The resort's going to have 600 rooms. Initially, there was talk about it having 300. Then there was talk about it having 900. Seems to be consistent over the last 6 months that they're settling on 600 rooms. We shall see. And like I said, it's going to be right near the Paddy Center. So for those of you who are interested in scuba diving, really great opportunity because you're not going to have to hop on a bus or anything. Like I said, the island's super small anyways, but it's a great opportunity if you are a scuba diver to be able to see and be able to scuba dive like right from the property. And if you don't scuba dive, you can still snorkel and you'll actually see things. There's a bit of a rocky enclosure. So in terms of seeing fish and stuff like that, very possible, very, very possible. So that's that's basically all I know about Baby Beach, Secrets Baby Beach. But this is a little picture for you. So that is from the Patty Center. You can see the pool just directly in front, that blue line across the bottom. And then that is the beautiful, beautiful beach that they have there. But it's absolutely breathtakingly gorgeous. And like I said, you can scuba dive or snorkel really right from the shore. But of course, if you're a proper scuba diver, you probably want to go out a little bit more and see some of the more interesting areas, some underground caves, that kind of thing. I'm not a scuba diver. That would totally freak me out. I don't mind being in the ocean. I want to be in it when it's crystal clear. And so there are basically three places that I will go into the ocean. One is Cancun, one is the Bahamas, and the other is Aruba. And that's pretty much it, because you can be in up to your neck and you can still see your toes. It's like clear as jello. Oh, I should also say near on the south side of the Dominican Republic, Sayona Island. Beautiful. So yeah, equally, it's like you're swimming in jello, clear blue jello. So yeah, but those are some great places, some great things to do if you're down in the Baby Beach area. So moving on to the next one, Secret St. Lucia. Now this one is a little bit more confirmed. Seem to be having a little bit less controversy on this one. And I've got a couple of pictures for you. That one is also scheduled to open in early 2025. Again, if you are heading to a Dream Secrets Breathless Zoetree Sunscape Resort or Hyatt Vivid, I know many of you are going there after hearing all the reviews and seeing some of my videos. Yeah, I'd love to go again, honestly, this year. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe I can sneak a little trip in. I'd love to see what it's like after having been open for a few months. But anyways, if you're at any of these properties, go and speak to the timeshare people and just ask them what's happening with these properties, because these people have the inside scoop. They'll probably tell you more than they're supposed to. Corporate has certain things that they will or will not want to share, especially with, travel agents and other people in the industry. But no disrespect, but the UVC people don't seem to care, because really at the end of the day, they just want to make their sales numbers. So if you want more of an inside scoop on what's happening, go and speak to them and find out what's going on. They're probably going to try to talk you into going to a presentation, so just be aware of that. And I do have a couple of videos on how to get out of a timeshare presentation. So if you get stuck in one, maybe refer to that. But now back to this Secret St. Lucia resort. So what we know is it's going to be on Rodney Bay. So that is on the St. Lucia side. That is on the east side of the island. And that is where, I don't know if there's still a casino on that side, but there used to be a shopping area, which is really nice. And then, of course, downtown area is where you've got all the little shops, spices, that kind of thing. It is known as one of the Spice Islands. And if you do go to St. Lucia, you definitely want to check out the pitons. There's a tour that takes you to where the mountains are. It's a volcanic island. So it's an interesting combination of sort of rocky. The beaches are both light colored as well as black sand. Let me show you a picture of that. Okay, so you can't really see the dark sand on this side, but it does show you how hilly and how green and lush this island is. So, and the resort itself, here's another picture of the resort, is going to have, they say 342 rooms, 5 bars, 5 a la carte restaurants, plus the usual, the buffet and room service and stuff like that, as well as 2 separate pools. But I think, excuse me, if you, in this picture here, no, you can't see anything different. There was another photo that I was looking at that sort of showed it, and it looked like it was more of a higher pool. So I'm not sure if there's another one in there somewhere, but we shall see. And of course, both of these properties, the Secrets properties in Aruba and St. Lucia, will have the preferred club. So that's an option. And of course, the better room locations, that kind of thing. Yeah, but again, this is opening up in early 2025. Both of these will be adults only, of course. No discussion currently that I've heard of that they're going to be doing any co-location of a family-friendly property nearby. So no Dreams or Hyatt Vivid. No, Hyatt Vivid would be adult only. No Dreams, or I guess Sunscape would be the other option that would be family friendly, or 𝖳tu𝖾yi𝖾. But again, like I said, they've already pulled out of the concept of 𝖳tu𝖾yiL in Aruba. They do have a lot of higher end resorts in St. Lucia. So because Secrets is sort of, there's 𝖳tu𝖾yiL up here, and then there's Secrets is a little bit slightly lower caliber. And then, you got the Sunscape, and actually the Vivid. Hyatt Vivid is considered a lower caliber property than the Secrets and Dreams properties and Breathless. So maybe what they've decided is to go in with the Secrets so that it's a slightly different, go for a different market share than competing with the ultra luxury Rendezvous and the couples resorts in St. Lucia and the Sandals resorts. Certainly a lot lower price point, and in my opinion, in some cases, Secrets is actually better in terms of your value for money. Just my opinion. Don't hate me. So yeah, we'll see what comes of this. But like I said, early 2025. The coffee's kicking in. Is my voice fed up? Sorry. I will try to consciously slow down. So here you go. The caffeine's kicking in. All right. Okay, this is a stupid thing, but what we've noticed this at a few resorts this year, and even close to the end of last year, that the glassware has really started to change to more of a sort of goblet style, like the style that your parents had in the 70s, the crystal, heavy tumblers, the fancy ornate glassware. It's the kind of thing you'd expect a smoked cocktail to come in, garnished with a twist of lime or a twist of lemon and an olive or something, or dehydrated fruits, that kind of thing. Christine, let me know, did they have this at the Iberostar? Was it more of the sort of ornate glassware? And I will say, Diane, if you're watching, I know you prefer to have a nice glass, even if it's plastic and you're drinking in the pool. Even in the pool, the glasses were this ornate style, but they were plastic, which is kind of cool. You feel like you're drinking something elegant. But I'd say that I didn't like these glasses at all. At all. Angelo, let me know if you enjoyed them or not. But to me, they were heavy, and I have pretty small hands. I don't want a big hunking glass for sipping my drink. It just feels like disproportionately heavy. Maybe if I was drinking scotch or something, but I think I've had scotch twice in my life, maybe 3 times. But it's not my thing. Okay, so Christine is saying had great glassware. Okay, so was it that ornate style and sort of heavier? And if so, did you like that? Bring this up every week. Christine and I are aligned in that we both very much dislike open concept bathrooms. But let's see if we're aligned on this one. What did you think of the drinkware? If it was ornate, did you enjoy that or not? Like I said, I'm not a fan, but certainly other people were. So to each their own. But yeah, let me know what you think. Do you like that sort of fancy style glassware? We saw some really cool drinks being made. There was even one, I don't think, I've gone through my hundreds of photos, and I don't think I have a picture, but I think my husband got one of this drink that they made where it was almost like a smoke bubble on the top of the glass that eventually you popped after it had had a chance to cure the drink or smoke the drink. And it just went, and all of a sudden the drink was smoked. So it was kind of a cool concept. It would have made for a great picture, but I'm not sure. Only use them at the bar or dinner. Used a tumbler at the pool. Okay, yeah. So I mean, like I found. I didn't upload that picture, but even the tumblers were that style. They were plastic, but they were just that, they were tumbler style, but still that ornate style. I don't know, it wasn't my cup of tea. That's cleaner, simpler, more basic, I guess. I don't know. That's just me, but that's just trends, right? I mean, geez, we're going back to like corduroys and bell bottoms. So what do I know? The 70s and the 80s are coming back to haunt us, folks. I hope you're ready. Hopefully they bring the music back. Music was really good, but we shall see. Oh, you brought your own insulated cup at the pool. I didn't bring one. I brought one, but honestly, I don't think I ever used it. But yeah, if you could, one of those small, like a Yeti cup, and they've got the lid on them as well, so you can keep your drink nice and cool, which is kind of nice if you're sipping on a glass of wine or even just a regular cool drink. It's nice in that, because, oh man, it was so hot. The one day it was like the temperature was 32, real feel was 37. In Fahrenheit, that would be, I think, 85, felt like 95. So it was hot and humid and windy. I think the whole time I was there, I gave up on having a good hair day. It just wasn't going to happen. Although that said, we're in a ponytail today, or a bun. So maybe that's just it. I don't know. Okay, drink a lot of champagne at resorts, and those glasses were regular. Okay. Yeah, and if you're having the champagne, you definitely don't want that to get warm. I don't necessarily personally like my white wine to be frosty cold. I would never put ice in it unless it's like warm. But that said, I don't like it when it's warm. It's kind of gets a little bit gross. So, okay, let's go back to this. Oops. Oh, wrong picture. Okay, moving on. So Northern Lights. I did post this on my community post the other day. I'm curious. So we had this like 3-4 night show of the Northern Lights. Jeremy, I don't know if you're watching, but I know you were near Chicago and you didn't see anything. I'm here in Vancouver, Canada, about 10 degrees north. Didn't see anything. So I'm curious if wherever you are, you saw the Northern Lights. It supposedly was a great show. I didn't even know about it until Saturday morning. I woke up and my Facebook feed, my Instagram feed, full of all these amazing pictures of people living south of me who took these amazing pictures the Friday night and saw it just to the naked eye. All these amazing photos of the Aurora Borealis. I grew up in northern Alberta. I live here in Vancouver, even further south. I've never seen it, so I was pretty disappointed. But I'm curious if any of you did see them. A lot of, like I said, I posted this in my community post, and a lot of people said that they did not see it. Yeah, it's kind of disappointing. But I'm also curious, is this something that you would travel for? I know a lot of you traveled or drove a long way to go and see the solar eclipse. So, are these things that you sort of look up in your calendar? I tend to just find out about them usually the day after they've happened. But some of you definitely, I know you do travel for this sort of thing, and it's kind of an interesting add-on to your trip, especially if you're in a place where, what did they call it? The the line of totality or something, where certain areas where where it was going to intersect with the moon and the sun were going to intersect, it was going to cause a complete and utter 100% eclipse. Whereas for, like where I am, I mean, if you were down in Cabo, you were going to see that was the line of totality. Up here, no. Like it kind of got a little bit darker, but not really. It was more like, oh, it's just going to rain. So it wasn't a big deal for anybody here in Western Canada. But Eastern Canada, I know my two of my sister-in-laws, they drove down to Niagara and they saw it, and it was pretty cloudy, is what everybody says out there. but they did see it, and it was pretty cool. But then that, I mean, this is like a month old, so yeah, but still kind of cool. Okay, moving on. Amazon in Mexico. So this was something interesting that came up. There was a lot of people, especially on the in the Facebook group for the new Hyatt Vivid. The activity was pretty active. One of the things that I love about going to a resort when it's just brand new is everybody chats to each other. There was not a single pool that we went to that we were in for more than 20 minutes that somebody nearby wasn't all of a sudden turning to us and going, "Oh, hey, how long have you been here? What do you think so far? Or did you check this out? Have you tried this? How long have you been? What kind of food have you liked? What restaurants are good?" Everybody's looking for a little bit more information. And so everyone's really chatty, and it's great because we met a lot of new friends. And it was a really great experience. And this has been my experience at all the new resorts that I've gone to. What was interesting is at this one, it seemed like almost everyone who was there, almost everyone who was enjoying themselves, they knew that this was the sort of mental environment that they were going into. You're getting the discounted opening rates. You're getting the, not necessarily everything's open because it's lower occupancy. You're not having to fight for chairs. But you are getting that environment where the staff are super friendly and they're trying so hard to impress their bosses and to welcome all the guests. And also the other guests are very friendly and very chatty. So it makes for quite a nice experience. So like I said, in the Facebook group, and just to counter that, the people who were expecting the resort to be 100% up and running and didn't realize that when a resort opens, it truly opens as a soft opening. I don't know of any resort that has opened in the, we're getting a little spam going on. Give me a second. And there you go. Okay, hopefully we have corrected that. Okay, so sorry about that. It's my first spammer. Interesting. It's not a challenge. Yeah, so where was I going with this? Anyways, so yeah, the people who were going there who were expecting it to be a proper full-on opening and expecting everything to be open and everything to be 100% operational. I know, Christine, you had a few words for those people, and I cheer you on those comments because it's absolutely true. The people who were expecting it went in with the wrong expectations. They went in expecting it to be a grand opening, and it truly wasn't. It was a soft opening. And so those were the people who were complaining. But everybody else was having a great time. And the people who were actually complaining the most about, it's too quiet, it's too this, it's too that. Well, the resort did try to accommodate that a little bit in terms of, increasing the music at the beach club, having a party on the rooftop. Well, and then what was also interesting is there was one day when a group of people arrived at the rooftop pool just around sunset, which had up until that point been a very serene, they had music playing, but it wasn't like, it was a beautiful place to relax and watch the sunset and have a drink and just kind of, like, I'm in Cancun, I'm on vacation. This is perfect. This is life. And, yeah. And then when they changed it to make it more like, yeah, let's party, it was like, this isn't Coco Bongo, people. Like, and so what was interesting is all the other people who were having a great old time with the more, serene environment, they were complaining. One woman even went up to the people at the beach club and said, look, I'm trying to have a nap down here. I'm enjoying this beach. I'm enjoying the view. Can you turn down that music? So, it's interesting as a resort goes. I think the resort really has to say, this is who I am. This is the type of resort that I am. And so, yes, sometimes you want to cater to those people, but other times, you just have to be whatever you want to be and have people just accept it. Christine's saying, regarding that, some of the people on Facebook were taking off for being so uninformed. Yeah, totally true. I'm not sure they're even real people, to be honest. Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, when you look at the reviews on Google, it was either 5-star or 1-star. And I think initially I just thought, well, these are fake. The ones who are 5-star, they're people who have either gone there, as a travel agent or something, and they've gone, oh, 5-star, 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 because they want it to succeed, and they're trying to help them out and stuff. But it just looks like fake because it's 5-star and then one sentence, really great, loved it. Okay, that's got no substance to it. And then you'd have the 1-star, and somebody would be complaining about stuff that was so like off the wall that it really made you question. We're not even talking about Amazon right now. Sorry, totally derailed myself. But anyways, we'll carry on for a second. Thank you for indulging me. And anyways, it struck me as totally being just fake reviews. But then what I thought is, after, maybe it was just that the 5-star reviews were for people who went in knowing it was a soft opening, knowing that there would be some hiccups along the way. But if you pack your patience, I hate that phrase, but if you go in knowing what to expect, knowing that there's going to be some hiccups, knowing that you're not going to have to fight for a chair, knowing that you're going to have that awesome co-guest relationship where everyone's friendly and chatty and having a good time and accepting everything instead of being grumpy. Maybe that's why there was the 5-star reviews. And then the people who went in and gave it 1-star reviews were the ones who were expecting it to be like Breathless or Temptations or Coco Bongo-ish. And that's not what the intent was of this property. So maybe that explains it. I don't know. But yeah, it's tough, and maybe they should have done a better job of explaining what type of resort they were trying to be. I don't know. But anyways, let's talk about Amazon because that was the whole point. Okay, so what was kind of cool is the Amazon does deliver in Mexico. Excuse me. And if you've forgotten something or you run out of something, so it came up in conversation on the Facebook group that people were complaining about how expensive the suntan lotion is at the property. I mean, this is nothing new, folks. The gift shop, resort gift shop, is your last resort, your last ditch place to buy stuff. This is not where you're going to go buy souvenirs unless you desperately want something that says Hyatt Vivid on it. But this is not where you go to shop for your suntan lotion. This is not where you go to shop for, ibuprofen or Advil. This is where you go if it's the middle of the night. Well, if it's the middle of the night, the shop's closed. But if you get a stomach bug or you've had too many virgin pina coladas, hello, coconut natural laxative. Pro tip, don't do it. If you've overdone something and you need it and you just can't bear to go out, then yeah, that's the resort gift shop. And you're going to pay. We paid $25 once for a bottle of mosquito repellent because at another resort, the mosquitoes were so bad, kind of snuck up on us, but it was rainy season and didn't really think to bring any. But you live and learn, right? Well, if you're staying at a hotel in the Cancun area or in Playa del Carmen, Riviera Maya, some of the more remote properties, probably not so much. But if you're staying in the Cancun area and you forget something or you run out of suntan lotion, you've got a couple of options. Number one, you can hop on the bus and go down to the local Chedraui, or there was what was it called? It was Chedraui Select, or there was a Soriana, was another grocery store, and that was in like Plaza Cuculcan. Used to be called that. Now it's called Luxury Avenue. It's where you can find like Prada and Chanel and Gucci and all those kind of like common shops that everyone shops in. Downtown, closer to Cocobongo, is where you're going to find the other grocery store. And of course, that's going to be probably your next best option price-wise. The tourist gift shops where you're going to see souvenirs and stuff like that, they're not going to be a lot far off of the resort prices. Just know that. But here's the thing that a lot of people don't know is you can order from Amazon. And so, for example, it was Sunday, and I had only just remembered that was one of my goals for the trip, is to actually do this. We still had tons of suntan lotion, so I didn't need that, but I was kind of curious. So I looked it up, and the resort gift shop was 500 and some pesos. So that's about 25 American. 𝖳tu𝖾li𝖾, we bought some suntan lotion for about 300, I think maybe 230. Excuse me, 230. And then I looked on Amazon and I could have bought some for 120 was the lowest price I saw. And it would have been next day delivery, but I was at the Hyatt Vivid at that point, and I would have wanted to go to the concierge and order. We see Angelo's just commented because he used it. Used Amazon, used in Mexico, and it was amazing. I was shocked at work. It delivered to Breathless. Oh, it like Breathless Riviera Cancun? Oh. And the box was waiting for me at reception. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I remember we talked about that when we were both at the resort, and you said that you basically went to them and said, like, how do I put in the address? And they just said, like, the kilometer on the highway, because the addresses are different in every country, and we're used to what we're used to. It's not exactly a street address, and it's even the same thing on in the hotel zone in Cancun. It's like kilometer 12.5, you know. So like, I don't know, how do they know? But you can put the instructions in. So yeah, basically go and see the concierge, and he can put in the address. Also, you're gonna have to go to Amazon Mexico, which means to say it's gonna be in Spanish. I didn't try it on my laptop, but so, you know, then I'm in a situation where I'm like, screen print, Google Translate, what am I ordering here? When's it gonna get here? So in the end, I didn't order it, but I'd spoken to Angelo, who had. Didi the dog is one of our regular contributors on the community post page. If you're watching, Didi, hello. And he has ordered before, and he said that there's also drop boxes. So if you're staying, so for example, if you're staying at Hyatt Vivid, and for whatever reason they can't get on property, and that's maybe a bad example. Let's see, a better example would be Moon Palace property. No. Where's something that's got a bit more of a driveway? They're all so tight like that. Let's say it's the Hard Rock. Okay, Hard Rock's got a bit of a longer driveway, and for that, they might say no to deliveries. They might. I don't know. I haven't tried. I haven't stayed there in years. What happened to Didi is they put a message on the Amazon order, on your Amazon order account, and they said that they left it at a local drop box, and the drop box was, I forget, I think he said it was at the nearest OXXO or 7-Eleven, and they have they have boxes there, and you just go in and they give you a code or whatever, and you can collect your stuff. So, I mean, how cool is that? And, you know, like I said, by comparison to $500 odd pesos, if you're getting it for 119 for sunscreen, and that's pretty good savings. And, you know, we're not talking like this isn't going to make it or break it, and it's not going to contribute necessarily to your next holiday, but it all adds up. So if you find that you get there and you've forgotten your charging cable, you forgot your plug-in, you forgot your earbuds, you ran out of sunscreen, you find that you do need bug spray, but you didn't bring any. I mean, these are the key things. If you use a CPAP machine and you need distilled water, that's one that people are always chasing down. These are things that you can order on Amazon. Another interesting thing that I saw at the resort, Angelo, I don't know if you saw this, but there were a bunch of guys. I would say, to stereotype, I would say they were probably from Miami, because they had beautiful, like, brown skin and seemed fluent in both English and Spanish. And they were having a great old time, but it seemed like they didn't necessarily want the alcohol that they had at the property. They had some specific type that they wanted. And so they ordered from Uber Eats. And I kid you not, the guys were, and I might be misremembering this a little bit, so, you know, take this with a grain of salt, but they were in the pool, and the main pool area is also where is right beside where the main entry area is. So they'd obviously spoken to security, and they ordered booze to the property. And yeah. And so I don't know if you saw this or not, but so right where the swim up bar is right sort of at the front of the property. And what the guy did, he obviously knew that the driver was here delivering his special bottles of booze. And so he's like waving at the guy. The guy comes over to the side of the pool, hands him the bottles. Now, okay, this is glass in the pool, which is totally not allowed. But the guy did get special approval from security, because security was like watching like a hawk. Because I'm like, what is going on? Like, are these guys doing something wrong? Are they doing something bad? There was something going on, because when the security guy was watching, another guy was watching, the bartenders were like, So it was sort of a weird situation. But anyways, they got 3 bottles, which they then took over to where their lounger was. And that's what they were drinking. So they ordered the booze, got it delivered to the hotel. So, I mean, how cool is that? I will say that the one really cool thing at the Hyatt Vivid, is that they have no problem allowing these deliveries and Ubers onto the property. So not only can you order from Amazon with confidence, again, and get the concierge to help you with the address so that they don't deliver it to, a different Hyatt or somewhere else down the street. But it was no problem to have these things coming onto the property, whereas a lot of other resorts are still restricting access. So, if you just fancy a Big Mac for dinner one day, then I guess you could order that for dinner. Or if you found some local taco shop that was sort of, one of the local favorite places, because there's a few that have been on Guy Fieri's Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives that are right in Cancun. So if you wanted to eat from a place like that, I suppose you could get the tacos delivered right to the hotel. So it's kind of presents a cool option. And sometimes it's nice to go away, to get away from it all and remove yourself from that perpetual being connected and all of those normal life conveniences. Sometimes it's nice just to disconnect a little bit. But if you're in a pinch and you need suntan lotion and you want to spend, $20 less than you have to, then why not? Why not give it a try? So that was pretty cool, and definitely something that I'll consider. Invariably, I mean, I've got, so many electronics. I mean, I've got my spare battery, I've got my microphones, I got my earbuds, and then my regular phone, charging for my camera, batteries. Like, there's so many things going on that invariably I need at least 3 different types of charging cables, as well as, of course, my fast charging cable for my phone, because, I always get battery anxiety because I'm always taking photos and videos, and those suck up the camera battery the most. But thank you again to Angelo for pointing out that they had the USB fast chargers in the rooms at Hyatt Vivid. And so that was pretty cool. You didn't even need to have your charger. You just needed the fast charging cable in order to utilize that. And for anything older than the 15 or the 14, I think, is Type-C, you basically just needed the Type-C to Lightning connector, and it would work. Angela's saying, really? That is so cool. Okay, that's cool. And was it, let me know, how was it? Was it super easy to order? Did it get there quickly? Was it still hot? I'm curious, but yeah, I totally get that. And I think, I don't know if you saw this as well, but in the Facebook group, somebody just posted 3 days ago that they have pepperoni pizza now at the Italian restaurant. And I'm like, what? I love pepperoni pizza. And my husband did order a pizza the last night that we were there, and it was really, really good. But my go-to is pepperoni, not gonna lie. So yeah, that would have been nice to have tried. Okay, had to put notes in there with the room number. Yes, so they could get it through security and to get to the front. I was there in 30 minutes. Well, I mean, you can't complain about that. That's really solid. And I would say that, when we took the Uber to get to the airport, we also had to not only give security our room number for the driver, but we also had to let them know what the driver, like the usual stuff with Uber, like the type of car, the license plate, and the driver's name. And then I also had to message the driver and let them know what our room number was so that they could get into the property. But once they had that information, no hassle whatsoever. And it was perfect. And like I said, we paid $14 in American to get to the airport instead of $70 for the shuttle or $45 via a taxi. So why wouldn't you? So yeah, things are getting easier. Things are getting cheaper. So, as much as the hotel prices are still pretty much out of control, we're seeing a leveling off in terms of flight prices. So hopefully that will also mean a slight leveling off in terms of the hotel prices. But yeah. Oh, how would the quality of the car and the drivers with Uber? Okay, so we took an Uber, how many times? We took an Uber to the train Maya when we did the Mayan train. That was great. No hassle from taxi drivers. One of the taxi drivers did see us and he kind of knew what was going on. And he said he would match the Uber driver till my husband told him how much we were paying, and then he just walked away. But no hassle, and that has been an issue in the past. The taxis and the Ubers are, well, not so much the Ubers, but the taxi drivers have been seriously pissed off at the Uber drivers because they're taking away the business. Duh, you're charging 3 times the price. Smart travelers are not going to pay that because it was ridiculous. Yeah, I think we talked about that. And if you pre-booked your shuttle, then it's done, it's paid for, it is what it is. But if you haven't, this is definitely a good thing to know for future. So yeah, we took the Uber to the train Maya. That was super cheap. We took it to the airport. That was super cheap. We took it from the Plaza Cuculcan one time back to the hotel. We took it from the first hotel, the Sandos Cancun, to the Hyatt Vivid. And I think there was one other time that we took an Uber, and they were all great. No issue with any of the vehicles. Actually, the worst Uber experience I've ever had was actually, well, twice. One was in Hawaii, where the guy had signs everywhere saying, don't do this, and make sure your feet are clean, and don't leave any dirt, and don't leave any junk or waste in the vehicle, blah, blah, blah. His car was trash, though. Like, his car was filthy. So I don't understand that whole germaphobe situation, considering it was a bit of a dump. But okay, so that was one experience. And then the other time was here in Vancouver, where the guy basically turned into traffic, thought the lane was clear, and honk, honk, honk. And all of a sudden he's pulling over madly to the side of the road. And it's like, yeah, great. You almost killed us, but thanks for the ride. But otherwise, yeah, my Uber experience in Mexico, the times that I have taken one, which we definitely took them a few times in Cabo. We took them a lot in Cabo because the Rio is just located, it's walkable to downtown, but it's not an easy walk. And the idea is we'd walk downtown and then Uber back to the hotel. But no issues there either. And what's Christine saying? Always use a private transfer. Friends travel, yeah. I've always used Canada transfers. They're also called USA transfers. And those have always been great. But now knowing that we have more opportunities with Uber, and especially from the Hyatt Vivid, where they can come onto the property. Normally, like even at the Sandos Cancun, we had to walk with our luggage down to the street. We had to walk off of the resort property. But again, the driveway length was 70 feet, maybe 50 meters. Wasn't a big deal, maybe 50 yards, give or take. But to know that some of the resorts are now starting to open up and allow Ubers to come on property, total game changer. Totally makes it much more affordable for you to get off the property and go and do things. I know I still spoke to a lot of people who were not comfortable leaving the resort. which is crazy because I said, like there's grocery stores nearby. You can go and you can get your cheap vanilla. You can get your cheap lime peanuts. Got to take lime peanuts home with you. I mean, folks, if you've never tried these, they are so delicious, and you can really you can get them only in Mexican stores in Mexico, or in some Mexican shops where they've imported them. But they're absolutely delicious. Of course, also the Japanese nuts, the ones that are covered in like the chip, almost like a crunchy chip. What else would you get? Those are the two main things. And of course, any kind of snacks, Mexican snacks that you want to get. The grocery store is the best place to get it. Also, go out and have a beer somewhere. Like if you stay at the resort the whole time, I mean, yes, it's relaxing, but it's nice to get out and explore a little and get a sense of what the area is like. If you're not comfortable walking or you're not comfortable taking transit in Cancun is amazing. You still got to hold on for dear life as soon as you walk on the bus, though, because he's not waiting for you to sit down. It's like, and it's like 2 speeds. It's like a golf cart. It's like he's going, foot's on the pedal, or other foot's on the brake. So you just always one hand for you, one hand for the bus or the boat. Definitely. What's Christine saying? Like the beers and such in the private transfer. Yeah, for sure. I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that it is legal, perfectly legal, to drive with a beer or an alcoholic drink in hand. I don't know for sure. I'd have to Google this, but I'm pretty sure this has come up before, and I've seen that it's perfectly legal to do that, whether it's a private transfer or an Uber or taxi. It is not legal to have a drink and be driving. So that's pretty much the only distinction. But yeah, I mean, especially at the start of a trip, you get in, they got a cold beer for you. It is the perfect way to kick off your trip. The beer star shopping was $1. Yeah. It's technically 12 pesos. We were paying $1 each ride. And then we found out, oh no, 12 pesos, which is like 50 cents. So we quickly fixed that situation, because it's basically for 2 people, 24 pesos, which is just slightly more than $1 for 2 people. So if you're traveling with a few others, then it's good to know. Angela's saying, tried Uber last year in Cancun. Hotel would not allow them on the property. Well, I don't know that Cancun has forced everyone to allow it now, because like I said, when we were staying at the Sandos Cancun, I specifically asked about this, and they said, no, we had to walk down to the main street. So I think it's a thing, is certain resorts only at this point in time, but hopefully it's a sign of the future that things will be changing. Okay. So yeah, legal to have open alcohol. There you go. Okay. So I'm presuming you're saying since January that they're supposed to be allowing the Ubers on property. Okay. Well, that's an interesting development. Okay. So if that's Quintana Roo, the state of Quintana Roo, which is of course from Merida up at the top, Chichen Itza, to Cancun, to Puerto Morelos, to Playa del Carmen, to Tulum, that whole area, if they're saying that's the case, then that would also suggest that if you're staying at Secrets Maroma Beach, or Hyatt Ziva Riviera Maya, Hyatt Zilara Riviera Maya, where you're driving a good 5 minutes to get into the property through the through the mangroves on a private road. If that allows you to then do an Uber, that's a big thing, because I will say that when Hyatt Zilara Riviera Maya, when it was Secrets Capri, and even now when it's Hyatt Zilara Riviera Maya, the cost of a taxi was stupid. I don't know why. They're sitting outside the resort all day long, and they finally get a fare. Somebody wants to go into Playa del Carmen, they're charging you $100. Like it's a 15-minute drive. It makes no sense. but because they could, you know? So if you're able now to do an Uber, then that is a pretty interesting option. So yeah, okay, well that's good to know. So yeah, things are changing, things are improving, and it'll be interesting to see in the next, well, even later this year, how much things change and how much more convenient things become. But I'll tell you what, you know, Cancun was developed 54 years ago. 1970 is when the Cancun government, the Quintana Roo government came in and decided that they wanted to make, yeah, everybody's tired of those crazy prices. They wanted to make this Cancun area a tourist destination. So this area was basically nothing before. Yeah, completely agree. It's definitely gonna improve prices for sure. So yeah, the government came in and they basically said they wanted to make this into a tourist area. It used to be, I think it was 3 coconut farmers who lived in the area, and the government bought up the land and they started changing it up and developing the area. And in the last 3 years, since COVID, they have done so much for the area. And I think that's part of the reason why they have the visit tax in place now, and why they're really starting to harp on that you have to pay it. We paid it. Not a soul at the airport asked for it. Angela, Christine, let me know. Did anyone ask you about the visit tax, if you had paid it or not? I mean, I didn't even see anybody. I flew out of Terminal 4, which is the terminal for mostly for Canadians, WestJet, I think Transat, Sunwing. Hard not to say that with a bit of a frown on my face, but oh well, sorry. It is what it is. But it's like $15, $17 or something per person that you pay, and that is going into the infrastructure of the area. It's helping to pay for the bridge that's going to go from sort of downtown Cancun, for the workers to get onto the hotel zone, so that it'll free up the traffic on Kukulkan Boulevard, which is the one road that runs north and south, where the hotel zone is. And no one asked you. Nobody asked you. Okay. So nobody's getting asked for this. But I suspect what's going to happen, and Tony, I do see your comment. I'll address that in a second. I suspect that what's going to happen is that rather than them checking on it right now, because it is directly tied to your passport. Okay. So if you take your passport, and then the next time you show up in Mexico, they will be able to see when you were last there, because every time you go, you either scan it, or you scan it yourself if you use the machines, or you get the guy or woman at immigration to scan your passport. So they'll see when you were last there, and they'll see if you paid the visit tax or not. Personally, I don't want to get delayed, hassled, fined for not paying it. So I paid it. Nobody asked for it. I don't care. I still paid it. But this money is all going towards that. It's going towards the seaweed, the sargassum, fixing that problem. They can no longer bury the sargassum on the beach. They can't dig a hole and just bury it. And they're trying to find environmental ways of getting rid of it. This year's been pretty good. Even though it was very, very windy and it did bring some in, it was still, you could totally swim in the ocean, aside from the fact that there was like red flags. But there's that. There's the Mayan train that they did. There's and that is an operation like you cannot imagine. I am going to be doing a video about that, but I'm trying to get all my Hyatt Vivid videos out first as priority, because those are brand new and less people are going to take the train, I suspect. But I mean, in the Cancun terminus, there were, I want to say, 8 tracks coming in. And ideally at peak, they will have trains running every 30 minutes. And they not only go south down to Puerto Morelos and Playa del Carmen, and eventually Tulum and further south of that, but they also go up past, they go to Chichen Itza, they go to Merida. So the opportunity for you to fly into Cancun, have a couple of nights there, and then hop on the train and then spend a couple of nights somewhere new, this is all possible now. And there were definitely people with luggage on the train. So there's certain restrictions in terms of how many pieces you can get, how much you can weigh. But so all of this is costing the government money, which I don't mind paying for, because it's making it very easy, very convenient, and an opportunity to explore the area a lot more. Okay, Tony's saying, love your chats and information you share. Great, thank you very much. I'll show your videos on the 𝖳vivid. Got my trip booked for July 17th. First time to Cancun. Information is so helpful. Good, great. I'm glad you enjoy it. The 𝖳vivid. Well, so what are my videos I've got coming out? I've got one maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. I'm going to talk about the Vantage Club and whether or not you should upgrade. Tony, let me know, what kind of room did you book? Did you go for Vantage or just regular? Also going to compare 𝖳vivid to other secret streams, other Hyatt resorts, Hyatt Ziva, because a lot of people want to know, like, give it context of whether or not it's worth it or not. And I've stayed at all the Hyatt Ziva and Zilaras in the area, and I've stayed at most of the Dream Secrets in the area. So I can definitely compare it to that. I've also stayed at Sandals properties. So again, going to compare all of that, as well as a full review, also a video on food and drinks. So basically just going to share what kind of foods I ate, show you what they look like so you can judge for yourself. Personally, I thought the portions were large. I don't think anybody else agrees with this. Everybody else I've read says that the food was too small, but it was no big deal. They would order an extra main course. So, I mean, they're super flexible in that respect. Okay, got Vantage Golf Club, Golf Ocean View. Ah, perfect, perfect. So you're going to be on one of the higher floors. The views are, I had a room, I got a courtesy room on the first floor, which is actually the third floor. So I was in there for a couple hours. I saw a room on the second floor, third floor, fifth floor, ninth floor, and I think 10th floor. And I will say that, you know, again, the comparison of the views from the Vantage Club rooms compared to the lower rooms, especially if you're going Golf Ocean View, huge difference in the views. The views on the lagoon side, the bay side, I would say lower to higher, not so much a difference in terms of the views, perhaps a difference in terms of the sound from any activities that might be happening down below and the pool during the day. But those are really the only big differences in terms of the view. But anyways, I've got a whole video about the a comparison between them. So stay tuned for that. Like I said, hopefully tomorrow. If not, tomorrow is another one. Tomorrow's Vantage Club Lounge. And then Friday would be hopefully the comparison video. So stay tuned for that. Before the price center. Well, okay. So if you book your, if you booked your Visitax through Travelcore wasn't in sync with the price that the Mexican government was actually charging. So I just went straight to the Mexican government site, which is visitax.gob.mx. And then that's the true pricing. And Travelcore just had an add-on convenience fee attached on. It wasn't necessarily billed as a convenience fee, but it was just a higher price, and they have since dropped it. But yeah, if you prepaid it all, then you are absolutely set for the price you had to. Yeah, well, look, if it's not much difference in the price, then why wouldn't you? It's kind of like saying, would you pay for a partial ocean view, or if it's like $20 more, would you pay for a full ocean view? No brainer, in my opinion. Wanted the bathtub as well. Okay, did you book? Oh, you didn't book a honeymoon suite. Okay, good. There's a little bit of controversy right now in that the honeymoon suites do not actually have a bathtub, which is slightly different than what was shown in the original photos and what was listed on the description. And I think they're going to try to add them, but who knows when that's going to happen. I mean, I'd rather see them get the rest of the property fully operational before they start mucking around with those details of the room. But then, to me, a bathtub in the room is not a big deal because I never use it anyways. And Candace is saying, we'll be going to the new Secrets Ply. Oh, will I be going to the new Secrets Ply like anytime soon? No, honestly, I'd love to. Would really love to. My girlfriend was just there for, she actually stayed there for a couple of nights, I think. She loved it, really loved it. And she's been to almost as many resorts as, well, she's probably been to more now because she's been on a few more trips. But she's got my kind of standards in terms of the quality of the property and expectations of service and food and stuff like that. And she loved it. But no, I've got so many other trips coming up, like nothing next month, but July is potentially Alaska cruise. September's Aruba. October is a Mexican Riviera cruise. And then January, apparently going to the Caribbean for a cruise. So, and that's going to be an interesting one because it's a super luxury cruise line that wow, it sounds amazing. But we'll see what else is going to fall in there. If the Alaska thing is we're on a wait list kind of thing, or last minute, we'll find out. We'll find out maybe a week before we go, maybe 2 days before we go, if we're able to get on the ship. So maybe I'll go to Cancun instead. I don't know. I mean, that's not a good time to be going to Cancun. Trust me, I've done it. But June, July, August, even into September, it's stupidly hot. In Aruba, I don't even know, what are we thinking? We're going to Aruba, which is always hot any time of year. And we're going in September, which is also peak hurricane season, but Aruba is technically outside of the hurricane belt, so we should be okay with that. Cancun, however, is right in the middle of the hurricane belt. So we shall see. But I'd love to go back to the Hyatt Vivid, especially July. Now they'll have been open for July. That would be the fourth month of them being open. So I'd be really curious to go back and see how things compare. But we'll see. So anyways, those are my plans for this year. But I know there's so many people who've been watching the videos who are planning to go, May, June, July, September. So I'm curious to hear from all of you what you think of the resort. And Tony, definitely let us know what you think. I hope you love it as much as I did and as much as Angelo did. But it's a great place to go. And just know, even though you're going in July, there might still be a few things that aren't 100% smoothed out. But if you go in expecting that and just know that you're going to get great service, it's going to be there's a lot more camaraderie between the guests. Food is really good. Drinks were amazing. Go and see Carlos at the Vantage Club and ask if you like spicy food. Get a spicy jalapeno margarita. Oh, and he automatically makes them as skinny drinks. So whatever he makes a drink, he will make it without sugar. You can always add the sugar. You can't take it out. But he automatically defaults to making skinny drinks. So he'll drop it off and he'll say, no sugar, no sugar. So that's kind of cool, especially as well if you're diabetic. I don't know how that all works with the alcohol and what you can and cannot have. But I think if you at least don't add the sugar, then you're not going to spike your glycemic levels. But I really don't know anything about it. So I'm just talking without knowledge here. But just letting you know, this is what they do. So thanks for tuning in today. It's been a really good conversation. Thanks for all your comments and interactions. It's great to hear from everybody and hear about your trips and stuff like that. If you haven't already done so, let's just do this. Get rid of this. If you haven't already done so, please go ahead and hit that like button. Just tap on the like button. Really helps out the channel, shows YouTube that you're interested. If you're not enjoying the content, hit the unlike button, the dislike button. Doesn't matter. It all helps. And it gives me feedback too. Stop talking, Christine. Okay, I get it. Okay, blame it on the Café d'Oea, the coffee. I drink coffee like twice a year, maybe. So blame it on that. But yeah, hit the like button. If you haven't already subscribed, subscribe, please. And all that's going to do is it's going to, I don't know what it does really. Well, it helps out the channel first. But if you hit the notification button, the bell, then that will make sure that if I do post a video randomly on a Thursday or something, I try to do live on a Wednesday and then a video on the weekend, like a proper edited video. And so if I do extra ones, then you will get notified. If I randomly go live, like I did last week, last week before I left the Hyatt Vivid, when I did a pop-up live from the beach club, it will notify you so that you can tune in and check it out. So yeah, so please do those things. And then if you want to have more behind the scenes information or other special posts, that kind of stuff, we do have channel memberships, so you can support the channel that way. And or if you want, you can buy me a coffee. The link is in the description down below. So these are all ways you can support the channel. But even just hitting the like button means a lot. So really appreciate it. Really appreciate you taking the time to join me today. I will be live again next Wednesday. So that's 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. UK time. If you are able to join, would love to see you. And thanks again for tuning in today. And hope you all have a great week. And stay tuned for more videos coming up on the Hyatt Vivid. Like I said, talking about whether or not you should whether or not I think the upgrade is worth it, whether or not you should or not. Well, I will present the facts. You make the decision. Yeah, we've got more lives coming up. And then also I'm going to try to get my full review of the resort done for this weekend. So stay tuned for that. So lots of stuff in the works. So yeah, stay tuned. So thanks again for tuning in today. Don't forget to hit that like button before you go. And we'll see you on the next one. Have a great week, everybody. Bye for now.